California's Gold is produced in association with KCET Los Angeles and is seen statewide on California Public Television. This series is endorsed by the California Teachers Association, the California School Boards Association, and the California Library Association.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell, and I am excited because right now we have come to one of my favorite places anywhere in the entire state of California. It's big, it's huge, it's vast, it's bizarre. It's the Salton Sea. This huge inland sea that is not even supposed to be here. This is not a natural body of water. It was formed over 100 years ago when an irrigation canal broke south of Yuma, Arizona, and flooded this whole area. And of course, it's been here ever since, filled with water that is saltier than the water you find in the ocean. Now, over the years, the Salton Sea has had its ups and its downs, and it's gotten some bad press too. A lot of people don't like this place. But I love the Salton Sea, not only because of its beauty and its vastness, and it's just an overwhelming sight to be out here and look at it all. I love that about it, but I also like the people who live out here. These people are very interesting. They definitely march to the beat of their own drummer. There are no city slickers living at the Salton Sea. So what we're going to do on this particular adventure is visit two places. Of course, we could have visited hundreds of places. There's so many things to see and do when you come to the Salton Sea, but we're going to two of them. One of them is natural, one of them is man-made, and they're both unusual, a little bizarre, but very interesting. And of course, both of the places we're getting ready to visit are fine examples of California's gold. Here we go.
Well, there we were heading south on Highway 111, which follows close to the Salton Sea shoreline. And we were looking for mud. And not just any old mud either. We were looking for hot, steaming, bubbling, obscure mud. Now, sometimes treasures are hidden, but after turning off the main paved road and going through a maze of dusty dirt roads, we eventually found exactly what we were looking for.
Okay, here we are at our first stop, right here by the Salton Sea, and I have hooked up with
Pam Trudy with the California Department of Fish and Game at Imperial Wildlife Area, 4.5 miles north of Nyland, California.
And the Salton Sea is just right over there.
Just behind us here.
And Jay, give us your official title and information here.
I'm Jay von Werlhof, the Director Archaeologist of Imperial Valley College Desert Museum in Ocotillo.
Okay, now we're here. You all know why we're here. We're here in search of mud, California mud.
Well, you couldn't find a better place than just mud here in the Imperial County.
We are standing in dry mud right here, but there's some wet mud over here. Jay, explain to us what this is, because I have never, in all of my travels around California, I have never seen anything quite like these.
Well, these are very special, and very special to Imperial County. This is a miniature volcano, and while many of these mud pots are actually cylindrical in shape and rise above the surface, the ones we have here have been gradually in a collapsing area and are pretty much below.
Now, you say these are volcanoes.
Yes, they're miniature volcanoes. It has the same process, come from the same general procedure as volcanoes, and we're right along the part of the Pacific Rim. And the San Andreas Fault, the most famous of California faults, is just over to the west of us, and to the east of about 5 to 10 miles is the Imperial Valley Fault. But this one is a very special one, found only in 1966, and It follows right along the edge of the Salton Sea, and it's along this edge that these mud volcanoes have occurred.
Now, wait a minute. You just called it a mud volcano. I thought it was a mud pot.
Well, it's pot because it looks like a pot, but actually it's a volcano with the same eruptive qualities as any other volcano.
Now, Pam, are these things always bubbling like this?
Yeah, usually they're bubbling. In the spring, they seem to be more active. I don't know if it has something to do with the balance of what's going on with the weather or anything. I don't think that has anything to do with the bubbling, but it does. When it's hotter, you can feel you can smell the sulfur much more than you can during the winter.
Yeah, because you can really smell the sulfur now.
Oh, yes. And the reason we actually have these here is that this part of California is much closer to the Earth's mantle. Actually, the crust is only 15 miles thick here in Imperial County.
So the gases come up, the mud bubbles up.
Yes, and elsewhere in the world, the vast majority of places, the mantle is some 30 to 50 miles below the crust.
So it's easy for it, the heat to make the water and the mud bubble.
Right along the fault lines, yes.
I just got to get down here.
How's your insurance?
We got great insurance. I just want to see, because, oh boy, it really... And listen to this. Listen to this and look at it. And if you reach down here, oh my gosh, look at this mud. It is really hot. It's real gooey.
It's a refined clay, really.
It's what?
It's a refined clay. It's a very, very beautiful clay. Very, very, no real grit in it. It's very smooth texture.
And it's hot.
Yes. Oh,
And
yeah.
I got this from around the edge.
Yes, as you can see from the stratum there, how it actually has formed, and just layer by layer by layer.
But this is kind of an area here that is fenced off. You have a little observation deck there. People kind of know to come here and stand here and look out at these mud pots. But there's another place that you all were telling me about a couple of miles down the road they're still mud pots, but they look totally different.
Very different.
Than these.
These are collapsed. Those are still rising.
So they're up in the air.
They're up in the air.
All right, let's go. I don't know how I'm going to get this. There's no clean water in here around here to wash my hands. Wonder how long it takes before this dries.
You better get off before it does, because your hands are going to be like a calf's statue.
Let's go to the next location.
Now here's where the story gets interesting, because after leaving the mud pots that have been fenced off by the state and are available for viewing by the public, we headed out through yet another maze of dirt roads in search of some really obscure mud. It was located on private land and wasn't open to the public. But it was here that I had one of the most interesting and exciting afternoons of my entire life. This place was amazing.
Well, we've come about 4.5 miles from our original location, and Jay, this is totally different from where we were.
Yes, it's absolutely different. The ones we just saw were in a collapsed condition. This is still building up above the surface.
Yeah, because when you look over here, it looks like big stacks of concrete, raw concrete stuck out there.
And in just the last few months, all of these have grown. Really? So they come on not on any scheduled base, but on a periodic base.
And look at this right here. This is amazing. You must be Jack.
Hi, Huell.
Jack wrote us about 3 or 4 months ago telling us about these mud pots. Jack photographs these things. Tell us what we're looking at right now, Jack.
Well, this is just a boiling spring, and instead of steam, like at Yellowstone, it's powered by carbon dioxide. We're right on top of the San Andreas Fault. And so the heat is turning limestone to carbon dioxide, and it's just going to town.
Now, how I want to put my hand in that. How hot is that?
That's probably pretty cool. I think that's probably only about 70 degrees or 80 degrees.
It's not even warm.
No, each one is a different temperature. There's some over here that are steaming behind you, these things that look like termite mounds. Some of them get up over 100 degrees.
Now, how long has this been here?
I don't know. I just discovered this area about March of this year, so I've only been coming out since then, just every once in a while to photograph. And it's been just like this ever since I got here, although some of the ones in the background here, they change every day.
Yeah.
And so they come and go, and so everything that you'll see today is probably different from what was around here last month.
So Pam, this new to you?
No, these have been here. It's the first time I've been here, but they have been here for a while. I've heard about them. Yeah.
So I mean, next week could one pop up right over here, and then another one over here the next week?
Yeah, from what we found on the wildlife area, that does happen.
Just because we're on the fault.
Uh-huh.
All right, now the deal is you've got your camera right here. You photograph these things. We're going to be taking a look at some of the movies that you have shot.
Good.
They are absolutely amazing when you get a nice tight shot of this mud coming up. How did you get interested in doing that?
Well, I've always been interested in high-speed phenomena. I'm a physicist by profession. And the famous picture that Harold Edgerton took of the milk drop with the bubble coming up, that got me interested in just the effects of water and mud at real high speed. And over here you'll really see some examples of when you just look at something that's, you look at it a little faster, a little closer, and you just discover a whole nother world. Almost like insect photography compared to looking at buffalo.
So you have been traveling around with your trusty camera capturing these mud pots for how many years now?
Oh, about 15 years or so.
And what do you do with this stuff?
Oh, I'm just sharing it with my friends and sending out
When people come over to your
cards.
house, do you sit around and look at mud pot bubbling video?
Oh, I send them Christmas cards with some mud pots on them, but I hope to do a book and a video one of these days.
Wow, because it is something to see.
Well, I sure appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Now, when you photograph this, you get your camera just right up on it and get some, tight shots of what? Just around the edges, or?
Sometimes it's just nice just to capture the whole thing and get the mood of everything around. There's some spots you'll see up here where you want to zoom in and just look at something as small as your hand.
Yeah.
Like there's some beautiful crystals. This water is extremely mineralized.
Can we see that down here?
Amen. Right down here.
Now, wait a minute. How deep is this?
I have no idea.
Do you have any idea? Does anybody know? Could we put your stick in there and just see how far down it goes, Jay? I don't want you to lose the stick.
Your hand.
Oh my gosh, look.
Just go keep right on going. It's a fissure that runs way, way down.
So that's a deep hole.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And look over here, this mud that's just being made right here. Look at this. Oh, this is amazing.
I'd like to point out, too, that look around here and it's pretty level. But this is gradually building up. And it'll eventually
get as tall as those
like that if it continues to go.
Now wait a minute, are these little mud pots over here? Are these the beginning of little mud pots?
I think you've seen the end of some little mud pots.
Yeah.
Look at these little things. And one just as little as this. Look at them, they're all over the place. And why do I have this fixation on putting my hand in the mud?
You probably played in the mud when you were 4 years old.
This is crazy. Now how am I going to get this off?
You're going to have to really work at it.
You can shake Pam's hand.
Boy, this has got, one more time because this is fun. Look at this. And look at this. Look at the bubbles coming right up out of the mud. So that's the beginning of yet another mud pot right there. All right, let's go see some of the big ant hills. Now here we go, and look at this. Look at the designs. Jack, I see what you're talking about now. This is absolutely beautiful right here, the way it's cracked. Can I pick some of this up?
Yeah, if you put it back down in the right place.
Yeah, because we don't want to.
Yeah, it shrinks as it dries out.
Look at this. Look at this design here, Louis. This is absolutely beautiful. Just the design in the mud when it cracks and dries. There's a lot to see, and there's also a lot to hear. I hear something over here. You hear it?
Oh, yes.
Let's go over and see what it is. Obviously, this whole area is, oh, look. One bubble, two bubbles, three bubbles, four bubbles. And then over here, listen to this. Now you can, the mud is actually bubbling up out of there.
Uh-huh.
You can see the little specks of mud coming up.
This whole mound used to be wide open, and it was bubbling with bubbles this wide. And then in just 2 months' time, it totally covered over. And now you see it's starting to open up again. So this whole area is constantly changing.
There's steam coming out of there.
Yeah, so there's steam coming out of the middle there. And I'm just looking over here. There's actually mud coming up. Listen to this. Now that's mud we're hearing down there.
See, it just erupted about a foot.
Whoa! So it just shoots up like that.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa! That was hot. Now that's hot.
A little hotter than the other one, isn't it?
All right, they found, what have you found over here?
This is a miniature volcano. It looks like an aerial view from 10,000 feet up.
Look at this. It really is. It's just beginning to build up. And there is the middle of the volcano right there. Now, Jack, this will actually build to be as big as the ones we just saw.
Well, this is mostly water. It's not as thick as with mud as some of the others, so I think it'll stay pretty small, but you can see it's got some algae growing around the sides to give it that nice color.
So it could come up some more.
Yeah, it'll slowly build up, not as fast as the real thick mud ones that were over there.
They just pop up.
Yes.
Now look over here. I don't even know where to go next. Where are we going?
Oh, just pick your spot. Every spot has something interesting.
Well, I hear something. You can hear things. I don't think I was prepared for the sound.
Yeah, there's a small one that you can see spitting out behind us over there that we just passed. And one way you can tell the fresh ones, you can see the darker mud. Wherever you see darker mud, that's a flow that's just happened since yesterday. And then, like the one just to your left here, you see it's white around the edges. It's started to dry out.
Yeah, right here.
And so that one's still going at the top, but it's starting to die out.
Now look at this pool right here. And listen to it. Oh, I got to put my microphone by that. It sounds so neat. It's so much fun. It's so strange. Oh, look. Look at this one. Yeah, this is cold mud. Oh, the water's hot. The water's warm. Look at it. Look at this, Louis. You can actually see the mud coming right up out of there. Right there. Well, the tour continues, and it's a never-ending tour because there's a constant barrage of visual and audio, things hitting your senses here.
But there's more than just mud here. Right up ahead, you can see some of the evidence of the high mineralization in the water.
Oh, look. These are like crystals.
Yeah, it's just mostly salt and other minerals from the water.
Now, why is that here?
Well, the water has like 10 times more minerals in it than the ocean. Just an extremely high mineral content. In fact, they mine zinc from some of the geothermal wells nearby.
So there are a lot of chemicals here in this soil.
Yeah, and you can tell the humidity is pretty low, and so it changes to crystals very rapidly.
Wow, so we've got crystals, we've got bubbling mud, we've got bubbling water. Here's some more of it over here. A little bubbling volcano right here. Whoa! It sinks too.
Yeah, you're in the middle of a science experiment here.
Whoa, that's the first time we've sunk down.
Another one here, just starting. You almost walked into that one.
This is like an obstacle course out here.
It sure is.
Boy, we have hit the jackpot over here. Look at this one. Jack, come over here a minute. Look at this. It's just pure mud building up around the edge there.
Looks like we have a miniature of a mountain, doesn't it?
Yeah. And there's another one over here. There's another one over here. Boy, this whole area. Oh, look over here. Now, this one really looks like a volcano that's building up. You can see it coming up.
There, you can see every once in a while it just starts bubbling up like a miniature geyser.
Look at this. Now, this water is warm. That's warm.
Yeah, each one has a different temperature.
Boy, we're surrounded by them. They're everywhere here.
That's cool there.
This one's cool?
Cool.
There's a whole, this whole area is just filled. There are hundreds of them here.
There are. They're coming and going.
Now, this is just still water that's full of algae. It's not moving at all.
Yeah, we've got a dying spring there.
So it's a dead one.
Yeah, it's cool enough so that, well, if you're algae...
No, there's
it's
still
live
bubbles coming out.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and you've got algae growing healthily in there.
And right next to it, we have a brand new one again coming out. Look at this. And then over here, we've got another one over here, a huge one. Now, Jack is set up to shoot something. Look over here, Louie. This is amazing. It's just spitting mud out of the... Look at this. And it's like a lava flow all the way down.
Yeah, you see beautiful.
And I'm getting pieces of mud on my leg
as we speak.
From all the way over there. It is really spitting it out.
Yeah, and if you see there, it's just making beautiful patterns. Here comes another flow coming down right now. See?
So it's really just like a flow of lava that goes all the way down. And I'm telling you, when this stuff spits, it's spitting out a couple of feet when it spits out.
To beware is when the sound stops. That's when the mud is covering up the opening and builds up pressure, and then it blows out. So when it stops, back up.
Wait a minute.
There.
It stopped. Whoa!
See? You learn things like that when you get splattered enough times.
Look at this.
Now tomorrow this beautiful mud flow is going to be all covered with cracks.
But I just want to stand here and listen to this and look at it for a minute. Now, we're waiting for it to get quiet. Here it comes. See? Exactly.
Right. Well,
Lesson one.
we've learned something new, haven't we?
Well, we set out in search of obscure California mud, and we found it, lots of it, out here by the Salton Sea, which just goes to prove, I guess, that you can find just about anything in our state if you look hard enough for it. And as we end this particular adventure, we're going to take a look at some more of Jack's wonderful video footage, some of his still pictures of this wonderful mud, these wonderful mud pots. When you look at them up close, they are amazing to see. And they are surely fine examples of California's gold. Are you tired of looking at hot, bubbling mud? Well, then that concludes the natural part of our Salton Sea adventure. The next adventure takes us to a man-made place. Actually, it's located just a few miles from the mudpots, just outside the Salton Sea community of Nyland. Now, to get there, you drive through Nyland, then a couple of miles inland, you spot it off in the distance. There it is up on the upper right-hand part of the screen. Before long, you turn off the paved road, and you're there. It definitely makes a statement right away, and it should, because this is Salvation Mountain, the creation of Leonard Knight, an honest-to-goodness, authentic California character. Good morning.
Hello, how are you?
I'm Huell.
Well, I'm glad to meet you. I'm glad that you're coming.
Well, where are we? Tell us where we are.
We're in Slab City, outside of Nyland, California, in a beautiful Southern California place.
And
this Salvation Mountain has been 11 years in the making.
And you did it all.
Almost all the work.
Well, tell us a little bit about it, because I'm telling you, when you drive up, it makes quite a statement. Tell us a little bit about how you started with this thing.
I sure will. I started right under that big heart, and I planned to stay 1 week and make a little 8-foot one. And 11 years later, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're standing on the solid clay. The mountain is adobe, and approximately 300 bales of straw in the whole thing. The more straw you put in the clay, the tougher it seems to get.
Oh, so wait a minute. This isn't just right on the side of a mountain. You've actually built, I mean, there's adobe here.
Yes, the whole mountain is solid clay.
Now, how do you decide what you're gonna, how did you decide what you put here?
It was an amazing thing. I really didn't. I never had any talent whatsoever. I kind of feel like a counterfeit, but I just kept working and wanting to do it. And it just seemed to fall into place.
So you didn't have any master plan when you started?
Never, not any at all. And I'm so excited now because the more I paint it, the shinier it gets. And look.
Oh yeah, see, that's real shiny.
Now, if I paint this whole mountain 10 or 12 more times with shiny paint, it's going to really get the attention. And I'm excited about everything.
Now, what is this a forest here? What is all this supposed to be?
It's supposed to be a waterfalls coming down to feed the ocean here.
I got you.
And it just happened to come out this way.
Your ladder's up there for what reason?
I was painting the blue waterfalls, and I didn't have the right color.
Now, did you dig this little area out here, out of the mountain?
Yes, I did. And it's not a little area when you got a shovel in the wheelbarrow. You know?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
No.
It's a big area. It's
No,
a lot of dirt.
No, it was fun doing it. And there's a big sump hole down there. So I'd take the wheelbarrow and just fill it and run down there with it. And it just came down and down. And
Well, how did you have an idea to dig it so that it looked
I don't
like
know.
this?
I don't know, really. I think it just developed without me knowing what I was doing.
Uh-huh.
And over here, all these letters are window putty.
Or what?
See how they stick out 1/4 of an inch? Because
Uh-huh.
it's window putty. I take a window putty gun and just make the...
That's not going to come off?
No, because that window putty sticks to glass or anything.
Wow.
And
And you got an American flag up here.
yes, yeah, I've probably got 100 hours on an old step ladder putting that up there.
So you had to have a ladder put up
Yeah,
here
a
to
step
do
ladder.
that. Never fell off.
Not yet. I keep saying that. No, I've never even stumbled on it, really.
Yeah.
It was just, I was so happy to do it. It seems to me that I just, it's been the best 11 years of my life. And it's getting better now all the time. The more popular it gets, the more fun it is. And
Well, you're sharing your
Something.
vision
Yeah.
with others.
yes, and it's happening so beautiful in such a loving way that I think it's the biggest love story in the whole world. Maybe it's going to be. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but boy, it sure is. It's getting me excited.
Can we go up the steps?
Yes, let's.
Well, tell us how this is all.
And this here, I painted a little bit extra, and you can see the shine in it.
Uh-huh.
So I really believe if I put another 12 coats of paint on this, every flower is going to have a little rainbow to it.
So
And
you
I'm
just
over it.
now did you cut this out of the side of the mountain, or was the mountain already like this?
It was almost like that. That's a
Uh-huh.
perfect example. And there's the solid clay in the mountain.
Uh-huh. And look what you did with it.
Anyway, I'm certainly glad that people like it.
You're just beaming from ear to ear.
Yes, I am. I really never been happy in my life.
Now wait a minute, where are we going?
Oh, we're
We
going
just
way up
keep
to the
climbing
top.
up.
Yeah,
Look at this. This is beautiful. And when you come up here, what do you encourage people to come up to
Oh,
the
yes, yeah. I tell almost everybody that it took me 1.5 years off and on to build these steps, and I want them to be used.
Uh-huh.
And I've had 88-year-old ladies coming up here helping them with a big smile on their face, and everybody leaves just with a smile and happiness.
What do people call this when they come by here? Do they call it folk art? Do they call it
Earth art is a very famous because the whole mountain is clay, the straw is here, everything is free.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been called a lot of nice things. Magic Mountain, God is Love Mountain.
Salvation Mountain?
That's the one that seems to be hitting real good, that makes me happy.
Now who came up with that?
It just came. It seemed to come.
Yeah. Now show us how this works, Leonard. How do you go about carving this stuff out?
Okay, when the adobe is wet, you soak it all night in 5-gallon buckets and put it in a tub and mix straw with it. And you can just pack it in and make like a brick
Uh-huh.
and let it harden. And it's one great big solid brick, maybe.
So this is like solid.
Solid adobe, yes.
The wind doesn't hurt it, the water doesn't hurt it.
It doesn't seem that way. And the more I paint it, the more solid it gets. That's why I tell everybody that if you bring in some old paint, I'll give you a big smile.
So that's the deal. You want people to, do people bring paint to you?
Yes, yeah. They just bring it to me and they're happy to do it. They want to do it.
And what kind of paint?
Usually it's old paint that people are throwing away. And now that it's becoming popular, people even buy me paint sometimes.
Uh-huh.
But I just soon have old paint that doesn't cost anybody anything.
Any kind of paint?
Any kind of paint.
Indoor paint?
Indoor paint is good for the cracks and it's rubberized. And I get excited with old paint and I get excited with new paint.
I think you just get excited.
I get excited.
Can we climb up to how do we get up to the top? I have no
You're
idea.
headed right. Just follow that road.
So we go straight up
Yeah.
here.
And right over here. You missed the road, but it don't matter.
Oh boy.
We'll make our own road.
Here we are.
We made it. See, the road is there.
Oh, you were supposed to come up
Yeah.
this way. Boy, this is beautiful looking out over here.
It is beautiful. Boy, that's why there's a lot of snowbirds here, because California is beautiful.
Yeah, but coming up on top of this place
I think.
and looking out.
I have to agree with you. It's a nice backyard I've got.
And look at the colors on here.
And it's easy to make the flowers, because when the adobe is wet, you can just put your fist in it.
Is
and
that the way you do it?
Yes.
You just get wet adobe and put your fist in it.
The first one, though, it took me 20 minutes. I fussed with it and fooled with it. And then you get to know what you're doing by making mistakes, and just put your fist in it, and wham, you got a flower.
Now, how do you make a tree?
The same way, but you use more adobe. And you can just pack it in.
Just use your hands?
Just use my hand and pack it in like it was a brick and make a leaf on it. And I like making the leaves. They're a lot of fun.
Okay, so here are the leaves.
Right, there's a whole...
Here are the flowers.
Right. And probably a great big handful of clay to make that leaf. And it strengthens it, too, because it's thicker.
Well, watch it now.
Yeah, don't back up.
See, that's what I'm worried about, too. You could just lose where you are and fall off.
It hasn't happened yet. I get sloppy sometimes, so I know when to get sloppy, because I know I want to repaint it anyway, and then it won't. So I can paint more if I get sloppy when it's at the right time.
I see. So you're just painting over your mistakes.
Yes, and the more it runs, the thicker the paint gets. So when I slop a little bit, it doesn't bother me a bit. And I'm almost out of paint now, and this is all I've got left. But every time there's like this dribble here, see?
Oh, there's a dribble over there. Oh, I see. You're just covering up the dribble.
I'm covering up my mistakes. And the whole mountain's built on mistakes. Maybe that's why it's so big.
Now we're taking a look at your house.
That's what we're doing. We're looking at my house.
Well, tell us a little bit about this.
Okay, it's an old white fire truck, and I use window putty on everything. Probably 200 tubes of window putty, and it makes it a different dimension, I guess.
Now, do you drive this thing around, or does
No.
it just sit here in front of the mountain?
It just sits here.
And you live inside?
Yes, so.
And here's your car
Yeah.
over here.
I get good gas mileage, but the banana mileage is bad.
What do you mean, the banana mileage?
Takes a lot of energy of eating.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
This is a great example of what they call folk art.
Yes, and can I tell you how it started?
Yeah.
About 8 years ago, I dribbled some window putty on a windshield, and a year later I couldn't take it off.
By accident.
By accident, so I just painted it. And I said, man, that looks like a flower. I'll put some more window putty. Now after 6 years, I'm window putty crazy.
So all of this stuff, look at this on the front. This is just beautiful.
It's all window
That's
putty.
all window putty.
Yes.
And all of this is window putty.
Right, and on my tires, even it's window putty.
Oh my gosh. Now here is the main theme right here. God is love.
That big love seems to hit everybody, and I'm learning that there's a lot of power in love. And everybody seems to like it and treat me super good. And I'm really happy with people, too.
Now, do you get people who criticize you for having a religious message out here?
Very, very little. Because my attitude is we live in a free country, and you can love God the way you want to. And then if they get pushy, then I change the subject and let my mountain do my talking.
Well, time has passed. Actually, it's been a little over 10 years since we were last here visiting with Leonard at Salvation Mountain. Leonard,
Hello.
you're still here, the mountain's still here, but it's twice the size it was when I was here 10 years ago. What have you built over here?
I'll show you, okay? Up here. Was this little igloo here last year?
No, this wasn't here.
Okay.
This is all new.
10 years ago, the farmers gave me 100 bales of straw, and I made a little igloo in here, and on the England Discovery Channel, and it's been popular for 10 years.
Now,
I want to show you inside of it.
Why did you build an igloo?
Because the farmers gave me the bales of straw, and I had more ambition than brains, probably. But I want to show you inside of here a minute. It really got popular.
Oh, look. It's like a little house in here.
And I'd like to show you. 10 years ago, when the farmers gave me the 100 bales of straw, I made this thing, and it was easy to make with adobe and bales of straw. And because people liked it so much, 9 years ago, I told God, I'm going to start a museum over here with 9,000 bales of hay in it.
Oh, my God.
And my brain got bigger than my body did.
Now, look, these are all kind of offset. So they kind of go up into just like an igloo.
About like an igloo.
And you painted it inside just like you painted your mountain.
Yes, a lot of it the same. And I'm anxious to show you the next thing over here, because 9 years ago I started building this museum, and now it's gotten worldwide, all over the world's web, and Congress has declared it a national treasure in the Senate now.
Wow. You know, you could live in here. This is almost like a little house in here.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, and I'm really anxious to show you this museum.
All right, we're moving on from the igloo.
Okay, we'll go on to this little
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. Look at the...
9,000 bales of hay in this thing.
Oh, look up here. These are like trees.
Congress has wanted,
Look at this.
the Folk Art Society of America 6 years ago wanted to get it into Congress as a national treasure. Last year, it's in the Congress as a national treasure, and it's all through the internet now.
Look at this. Oh, Leonard.
And I pulled these sticks into here with my little Toyota car, 9 years. And you see the windows up in there? I found the windows in the cars, in the desert. Everything in here is out in the desert.
Oh, my gosh. This is like a whole forest.
I'd like to show you in here.
Oh, my gosh.
Is a truck tire tree with 10 car tires, all full of wet adobe.
So inside here are tires.
Yeah, with adobe sticks in it.
And then this is the plaster.
And that's the mountain clay.
Look at this up through
And right here,
Your
I can-
flowers. I
I
remember
can-
you did them with your hand.
yeah, but I've learned in 10 years that I can make 1,000 flowers in one day easy.
Uh-huh.
So in here,
Look at this. Look up here.
this is a tractor tire tree. The bigger the tires, the bigger the tree.
So
And I
this
found-
was made with tractor tires,
And,
covered with adobe, and then with the plaster, and then
Yeah.
painted.
And all the limbs I put in there with 3 little come-alongs
Where did you get all of this wood?
out in the desert.
just
Everything's
brought
out
it
the
in.
desert. Car doors out in the desert, windows out in the desert.
Now this is right over here. Now this shows the work in progress over here. Come on over here, Leonard. Look at this. This is what you've still got to do.
See the mountain, see the cracks in the mountain? You can put a shovel up here and knock down a ton, and it's solid clay. That's the best clay that money can buy in that whole mountaintop.
Boy, this kind of shows it all. This is what needs to be done. This is what has been done. This is kind of the transition area here.
And this here's a flower archway, probably thousands of flowers all over the place.
And there's some tires.
Yeah, I wanted to make a 40-foot tree and have 10 telephone poles around holding the thing up, but my brain got bigger than my body did.
Yeah. Well, this is a lot of work.
And I'm having a good time with it. People are loving me all over the world now, so I can't help but be happy.
Do you have a lot of people coming out here every day to see you?
Yes, and the first day of this year, and Bob Sims was here, 250 they claimed came in with cameras from foreign countries.
Wow.
Isn't that about right?
Wow. Bob, we haven't met you. Come on, let's all go out here and stand. I'm trying to get my bearings because so much has changed since we were here before, but let's just stand looking this way. Bob, we haven't met you yet, and you've become a very important part
Yes.
of the Leonard Knight story since we were here 10 years ago.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, how did that all happen?
Well, a friend of mine, Tina, and I saw your show, and so she decided we need to come out here, and we instantly liked Leonard, and she went back and was able to start getting a lot of paint. So we've brought several thousand gallons of paint out here to Leonard, way back when it was hard to come by. Mm-hmm. But that's been about 13 years ago.
So you've stuck with him all these years. You've become very close personally and very connected with this whole project.
Yeah, there's not much that goes on out here that I don't know about.
And you also run the official Salvation Mountain website.
Yeah, I do.
Because we're going to put that on the screen right now so that if people want to, you know, log in and find out more about all of this and how to come out here and help Leonard, because you don't ever know for sure whether Leonard's out here or not. It's hard to reach him by phone.
Well,
you don't have a telephone out
I
here.
don't. Too busy painting.
So you
Pretty
just
much.
kind of hit or miss, but he's out here most of the time.
Most of the time he's here. Yeah, very seldom that he's not. If he is not here, he's usually in town grabbing a bite to eat or something like
Do
that.
people come out now to help him build?
Some do, yeah. Not
he's-
everybody wants to come out and get their hands dirty, though.
Basically, he's still doing this himself.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So you've still got the dream, you've still got the vision, you've still got the energy after all these years to keep working on this thing.
Yes, but I don't work so hard anymore. And when it comes to the bales of hay, I let the young kids help me now because I want to keep it coasting along another 10 years.
Do you think you'll finish this? Do
No.
you have more plans in...
The only way I could possibly finish it is to have bigger companies come in and want to donate better equipment. And but boy, I'm happy with the mountain going so good. Yeah. Last weekend, last weekend, they estimated 1,000 cameras came up in that one weekend.
Really?
That's over 200 a day.
So a lot of people are coming out here now from all over the world.
All over the world. I just got an email the other day from a TV company in Germany that wants to come out and do an article on Leonard. So.
And you just continue to live out here in the middle of nowhere by yourself in your little truck over there and building your mountain.
Right, and that's what I've been doing the last 10 years since we met, or 15.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the General Sherman tree base, the biggest tree in the world? I'd like to show you the stump of it.
Oh boy, see, he still gets
feel led to
excited.
show you this.
Oh, that's not really a stump, but you act like it is, don't you?
Well, this is a very interesting part of my 10 years since I've seen you. This is in the General Sherman Redwood Tree Forest.
Can I walk on this?
Yes. Yeah, I'd like to.
So you kind of made it to look
Yes.
like a tree trunk.
And they told me if I took a 17-foot rope and pinpointed it and walked around, it'd come to 108 feet, and it's about 108 feet. So it's a General Sherman tree-based trunk, the biggest tree in the world, in the redwoods and sequoias.
See, your mind is always working about new things. Isn't it?
And boy, I had a 40 motorcycle group come up, and they're all circled here, hand in hand. And I had 2 bus tours come up with 60 4-year-old kids all at once. And all the kids were running around here and taking pictures of it. So I'm excited about it going so good.
Even though you're out here alone, you're really not alone much anymore, are you?
No, that's right. And the internet has really helped me a tremendous.
Yeah.
And this is a God's honest truth. Congress has declared it a national treasure in the Senate.
That's great.
I tell many groups, when I get in a bad mood, when I think about Congress declaring this a national treasure, I get in a good mood. And they all laugh, and it's really coming down so beautiful. I'm excited about it.
And look, just in the time we've been on our little tour, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 15 people have shown up.
Wow.
So you're always giving tours.
A lot, yes, and I'm happy with that.
You don't charge for the tour.
Never. No, I don't want to charge anything for anybody.
The thing
if
is,
God can't give it to us, let's not do it.
the thing is, you just want people to bring paint if we got paint, right?
And a lot of people come in with ambition and love and cameras. And I like it when cameras come in and take pictures of it, hug me. I'm going to come back, Leonard. I
Yeah.
say, okay, I'm not moving the mountain. It'll be here. That's what I'd like to tell them.
Well, good to see you, sir.
Okay.
It's been a long time,
Yeah, it
but you're
has.
looking good and your mountain's looking tremendous. You've
Thank
got to
you.
be proud of this
I'm
dream
awful
you
happy with
had.
it. And you've helped me a lot to do this 13 years ago. Because you've been playing this mountain a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And I can tell when you play it, because the people will come in and say, I saw that movie in California Gold again. I say, yeah, he played it again. So I love you for that.
I love you too. Can I give you a hug?
Yes.
And here we go, over to your mountain right here. This is the original mountain right here. This is where it all started.
And you people can walk around if you want in the
Come on
tour.
and take the tour. There's the mountain, Salvation Mountain, bigger and better than ever. And there's the man that started it all and continues his dream right there. Thank you, Leonard.
Okay, God bless you.
God bless you.
I'll give them a tour. And before you leave, I'd like to give you a picture puzzle and some DVDs on it.
Good.
I got a bunch
Wait a
of
minute, you're going to give me my DVDs?
Yeah, no, not yours, but they're close to it.
Salvation Mountain is an amazing place. There is so much to see with all kinds of twists and turns and surprises around every corner. It's brightly painted with lots of colors that glisten and shine in the sunlight. It's still a work in progress. It keeps growing. And it's a true California folk art treasure, located right out in the middle of our California desert near the Salton Sea. And of course, it's well worth a visit. But you know, there's more to Salvation Mountain than the structure itself, made from straw bales and adobe and old tires and wood. The real story here is the passion and commitment and hard work of Leonard Knight, who for over 25 years now has been following his dream and almost single-handedly building his mountain. A mountain he continues to take great pride and delight in sharing with others. There's no doubt about it, my friend Leonard Knight and his mountain are both fine examples of California's gold. Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell Hauser, and I sure hope you enjoyed these Salton Sea adventures, where we went to the hot bubbling mud pots and then visited Salvation Mountain. Now, if you'd like to go on this desert adventure again, or share it with family and friends, of course it's available on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.